It's that time of year again where the kids are heading back to college and you have to come up with some extra money to account for those unexpected expenses like replacement dorm furniture. Wouldn't it be nice if just one year you could save a little money for back to school? Well, with a little help from a friend and some smart DIY-nomics, you can. I'm Chad Boushell, and in this episode, I'm going to show you how to repair a wobbly leaning bookcase. With or without power tools. You know the one I'm talking about. Taking up room in your garage, it's doing its best impression of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Sure, it's fun to look at and play with, but you never know how it even stands up. Yeah, that one. No worries though. With a few simple tools and techniques, it'll be better than new. I'm going to use power tools today because they make the job easier and faster. Don't worry if you don't have any power tools, as I have some helpful tips that'll help you complete the project without them. For this project, you'll need a tape measure, a pencil, paper, a circular or table saw, an electric or pneumatic nail gun, a hammer, pliers, paint to match the color of the bookcase or your kids' school's colors. If you're not using power tools, you're also going to need some finish nails and some ice for when you whack your thumb with a hammer. First step on this repair is so easy even a college kid could get a 4.0 on it. You start by removing the contents of the shelves, then you remove the shelves themselves. When you take the pins out, a helpful tip is put them in a plastic Ziploc baggie. Set them aside for later, that way they're going to stay where you put them, as long as you remember where you put the bag. Now that it's empty, you're going to lay the bookcase face down on the work surface. You're going to take the measurements of the bookcase, measuring the length and the width of the bookcase. My bookcase is 41 inches long by 27 3/4 inches wide. Now that we have our measurements, it's now time to choose our backing material. I prefer 1/4 inch plywood. It's easy to work with and relatively inexpensive. This piece is actually from a different project, so I'm going to save some extra money as well. If you don't have any materials on hand, that's okay. It's time to go to the hardware store. Got a helpful tip for you. If you don't have power tools, take the measurements with you to the store. Ask one of the lumber associates to cut it down for you. Most times they're more than happy to help. Oh, and while you're there, do you have the paint and the nails and the other items we're going to need to finish the project? If not, pick them up now. Save that trip. Oh, and the scrap wood that they cut off, make sure you keep that. You paid for it, and it'll save you money on the next project that you're doing. Now that we have our backing material, it's time to cut it down to our specific sizes. If you had yours cut at the hardware store, I'm proud of you. You're saving some steps. But don't worry, teacher's pet. I'll be cut up real soon. When using any power tool, remember to be safe. You need those fingers to hold your celebratory drink when you're done with the project, which on this project is real soon. And it's very important to have precise measurements when you're using a table saw. I'm using a board that is now 31 inches wide. I've already cut it to length, so we need to cut this down to our 27 3/4 inch width of the bookcase. That looks like we're going to need to take 3 1/4 inches off of this board. Now that we both have our plywood cut to shape and to size, you can go ahead and paint it your school colors or the color of the bookcase. I'm going to leave mine natural because I want to get to that celebratory drink much sooner. While your paint is drying, now is a good time to remove the backing. Most of the time these backings come right off without much persuasion, but if they do need a little more coaxing, you can always grab a hammer. Easiest way to do that, lift an edge, run the hammer under to the nail, and pry, and it should pop right off. Once you have completed removing all of the backings, you're going to want to remove all of the rest of the nails or tacks to make sure that it's nice and smooth on the back for the new backing. Easiest way to do that, take your trusty claw hammer, and just run along and make sure that they're all done. You'll feel a little bump every time you go over it, and you know there's a nail there. It's a quick, easy way where you don't actually have to get cut by a nail on your finger. You're making the tool do all the heavy lifting. Now that this bookcase is prepped, we're ready to put our backing on. It's reassembly time. Use your square to ensure that the bookcase is square. You do that by lining up both edges of the square to two edges of the inside of the bookcase. Once they're all flush, you know it's square. If you don't have a square, I've got a helpful tip for you. What you do is you measure diagonally from both corners. And when that measurement is the same, you know it's square. 47 and a half, 47 and a half. I'm right on. Remember, that trick works on any size rectangle. Now the bookcase is square, and your paint is dry, or not painted at all, you're going to carefully lay your backing onto the bookcase and line up the edges. You're going to make sure it's flush with the top and side edges to ensure that it is still square. Check for square one more time, which we're good on. Now that it's flush and we've checked square one last time, we're going to nail through one of the edges, I'm choosing the top edge, through the board, and then we're going to check for square one final time, make sure that nothing has moved on us, and then you nail on a perpendicular edge to make sure that it stays square. Now, to finish up, all you have to do is put a nail in every 6 to 8 inches around the rest of the perimeter. When you get to the corners, you want to leave an inch or two gap from each corner to ensure that we don't have anything split out. Why I love nail guns. You can do a whole project quickly and not smash your thumb. Congratulations, you just finished a bookshelf. It's time to reinstall the shelves and send it off to the dorms. Pins are in that Ziploc baggie that I had you place aside earlier. I remembered where mine was. Did you remember where yours was? You put the pin in the appropriate spot. I already have the other 3 in place. Line up the shelf, and you're good to go. You just saved money by fixing what you already had, and you gained space in your home by sending it off to college. Don't worry about it not being used, as college students can always use extra space in the dorm. For booze. For detailed instructions, other projects, and outtakes, please visit our website. Don't forget to tweet us with pictures of your finished DIY project with the hashtag #CheersIDidIt. Until next time, cheers! You did it!